What did Lindsay Clancy express to you as far as Seroquel? Did she want to continue with that?
No.
Did she explain why?
So she felt like when she took Remeron and Seroquel together, she felt weighed down and exhausted, but her mind was still awake and alert, and she just didn't seem to think there was a benefit to being on it.
And so did she express to you a desire to want to go back to trialing Prozac?
Both Lindsay and her husband expressed that that was their preference.
And was that something that you agreed with?
I did. I had shared with them that I had concern this could be bipolar. It's in my differential diagnosis, which is just all the typical diagnoses we might be considering. And that typically SSRIs are contraindicated, but she did have that history of being able to tolerate Prozac at 20 milligrams and do okay with no mania. So I thought that's what they were wanting to do, so we could do it. We could try it.
When you say contraindication,
okay, sorry.
What does that mean?
It means typically not something you would want to do if you were sure somebody had bipolar disorder, because if you put somebody on just an SSRI or like Prozac, like Zoloft, it can create a scenario where people are flipping back and forth between manic symptoms and depressed symptoms, or they're called rapid cycling. It's not that antidepressants or SSRIs are never prescribed in bipolar disorder, but you often would want to have a mood stabilizer on board at the same time.
And so, despite your suspicions, you listened to the patient and went along with her request.
Yes.
So at the conclusion of that meeting, did you indicate that she could discontinue the Seroquel at that point?
Yes.
With the plan that she was going to restart Prozac?
Yes. Which I had been recommending the Prozac. Earlier, I believe even on November 30th, I had recommended it.
And with that previous recommendation, it was in addition to the Seroquel?
And the Remeron, yes.
So after this meeting on December 6th, did you have additional communications with Lindsay Clancy via the MyChart messaging on December 7th?
Yes.
And fair to say that those communications started as early as 9:48 a.m. when she sent the first message, right?
Let me just make sure. Oh, yes. Yes.
So on December 7th at 9:48 a.m., she sends a message saying, "Hi, Rebecca, last night did not go well at all. I took the Valium and melatonin and only slept from 9 to 1. Then around 2, I got desperate and took 25 milligrams of Benadryl and only slept about 1 more hour. What can I do? I really need help." So that was the message that you came into on December 7th, right?
Yes.
And did you respond to her in the messaging app?
I did.
And what was the response?
I'm trying to find the sequence.
Yeah, 10:19 a.m.
I think it's cut off. Okay. So I discussed, I mentioned, so your husband made a good point yesterday. Despite taking the Ativan in the evening, you were still only able to get a 5-hour stretch of sleep, which, yes, is improvement, but does sort of dispel the notion that benzodiazepines are the only thing that are helping you sleep right now, as you are still getting less than the target of 6 to 8 hours with Ativan, and the Valium did not help for sleep much at all. My next step in this case is to try a higher dose of Seroquel on its own. Are you feeling any subsequent loss of energy, exhaustion, fatigue with lack of sleep?
Why would it be the next step to increase from 75 of Seroquel to 100?
So she had been taking 50, so I was suggesting 75 to 100 would be my next step, because again, bipolar is still on my differentials, and now I have the data that she only slept 2 hours. So I asked her the follow-up question, are you feeling tired? Or, are you feeling exhausted? Any subsequent loss of energy? It's still in the back of my mind that this could be bipolar.
So as far as the Seroquel goes at that point, creeping up the dosage, do you get now from the using it to treat insomnia to using it to treat something else like bipolar?
Correct.
And so that piece of it about feeling subsequent loss of energy and exhaustion, fatigue, why ask that?
Patients can have insomnia because they're anxious or because they're depressed, but typically they're exhausted or they're tired the next day, and it really does affect them. If a patient has an underlying bipolar, they could go on 2 hours of sleep and not feel tired at all, and that's unusual.
And so that is one of the signs, potentially, of a manic episode?
Potentially, yes.
So on December 7th at 10:33, she responds, no, the weird thing is I don't feel tired at all. And she says, so just Seroquel tonight, ? I feel like I'm going to panic without a benzo with it. And then again at 11:44, another message, would I be able to do the Valium with Seroquel? Is that a safe option? So again, in this exchange with her in my chart, she's asking you questions to clarify what you've said and also alternatives to address the issue, right?
Right.
And as far as her questions go, and then her response about not feeling tired, how did you respond in the message?
So she kind of sent those in succession. So I don't feel tired, would I be able to do the Valium with the Seroquel? So I respond by, if you're not sleeping well with the Valium alone, there's no need to continue it, and I will prescribe a short taper to get you off benzos altogether. Because you are not tired at all and had a significant reaction to Zoloft at 50 milligrams, I'm concerned this is an underlying mood and bipolar disorder. I know you and your husband did not necessarily agree with that, but I feel that I'm going to send along this information to review. So I sent her a list of symptoms of bipolar, risk factors, so that she could have it to refer to.
And again, at this point, the only symptom she was reporting of mania was this not being able to sleep and not feeling tired, right?
And yes, and the racing thoughts and the trouble concentrating.
Okay, is that things that she had reported to you in your visit on the 6th?
No.
Okay. In these messages that she was sending to you in her on December 7th, she didn't talk about racing thoughts, did she?
No.
Okay, she just talked about the sleep?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But based on a review of her history, she had at one point indicated that she was feeling those in relation to a symptom she was describing. Is that
correct?
So at this point, what do you recommend her to do?
I explained the importance of knowing if this is bipolar is significant, because SSRIs like Zoloft and even Prozac would be contraindicated. My recommendation is to do 100 milligrams of Seroquel tonight, 200 milligrams of Seroquel tomorrow night, 300 milligrams on 12/9, 400 on 12/10, and we will hold there. I actually say hold the Prozac, as I'm concerned this is a hypomanic mixed manic state.
And what about the Remeron at that point? Where did this fall into the mix, if it fell in at all?
I had recommended a very short taper on December 6th. I think I advised her to take half of a 7.5 milligram tablet for 3 nights, but in her message to me on December 7th, she had not taken it that night. So I had assumed she had just stopped that entirely.
Okay. Now, after you sent that message at 12:32, did she respond at 2:53, indicating that she would stick with that plan and that she said she needed a refill on the Seroquel because she only had 30 25 milligram tablets?
She did say that. There were actually a few earlier messages as well that day. I provided an alternative. One as an option, it quickly came into my mind, we're thinking about Prozac. We could add Zyprexa on board because there's actually a combination pill of Prozac, Zyprexa. The brand name is Symbyax, and it's for bipolar. And I said, for our purposes, we can prescribe them separately and take them both for the same effect. And I asked her to let me know which one she would prefer. And she responded, I think I would like to do the Seroquel with the Valium taper.
Okay, so that suggested alternative actually was on at 12:37.
Correct.
And then at 1 o'clock, she elects that she'd like to do the Seroquel with the Valium and asks for you to call in the Valium and the Seroquel.
Yes.
Okay. So that's on December 7th, right?
Yes.
On December 8th, at 6:35 a.m., she sends you a message saying, did well last night, need Valium, feeling panicky, don't know if ready to taper as quickly as planned.
Yes.
Kind of paraphrasing, but.
Yeah, she exclaimed, I actually did really well last night with the Valium and Seroquel. I mostly slept from 9 to 5 with a few wake-ups, but was able to go back to sleep. She was concerned that she felt like she needed to take the Valium around 5 p.m. because she was feeling panicky. I feel really dependent on it. Can I taper any slower?
And what was your response to her request for a slower taper?
I said, I'm hesitant to taper any slower. Remember, Valium has a really long half-life, 100 hours, so you will have some on board in your system throughout the weekend.
And why were you hesitant to taper any slower?
I felt like she was anxious about being dependent on it, and so I was trying to facilitate the process of tapering her off, and I was clinically thinking we could cover her symptoms of anxiety as we titrated the Seroquel, because Seroquel actually has several clinical trials that show it has really good efficacy for anxiety.
And this conversation about the request to taper, that actually goes into December 9th of 2022, correct?
Yes.
And in her response to your indicating you were hesitant to taper, she indicates that she took the 5 milligrams of Valium and that she didn't have any left and that she was afraid that she was going to take Ativan.